Hello. Today I'm going to give you a very brief overview of the decolonization of Africa and Asia. So before we can start talking about this, we have to think back to the age of imperialism. Remember when those European countries went down to Africa in the scramble for Africa and they all claimed Africa and they went to certain places in Asia and did the same thing? Well, they did this because they needed natural resources during the Industrial Revolution, but they really didn't put anything into these African countries and these Asian countries. But after World War II, all of the men in these African countries and Asian countries had to fight for their mother country. So the ones that belonged to Great Britain had to fight on the side of the British in World War II. And the whole point of fighting was to try to stop Germany from building an empire. But here was the problem with that. They belonged to one of the largest empires in the world. So they kind of felt like their colonial powers were hypocrites because here they were using these men to try to stop Germany from building an empire when in fact they belonged to a large empire. So, what on earth, the hypocrisy of it really, really bothered these men. So, they took advantage of the fact that Europe was very weak after World War II and decided to try to get their independence. But there were a lot of challenges faced by these countries of Africa and Asia. They included political challenges, economic challenges, environmental challenges, and social challenges. So, let's break these down. Political challenges. These countries had very little experience ruling over themselves. A European country had ruled over most of these countries for over 100 years by this point. So there was a lot of corruption when they tried to form their own governments. There were also civil wars because you had people battling about who was going to be in charge of these newly formed countries. You had some economic challenges. Most of these countries were not industrialized. The European countries only came and took the raw materials and resources out of Africa. They didn't really put industries into Africa. So that means that for most of these countries, they had economies based on agriculture. The environmental challenges. One of the problems was desertification. When you overfarm the land, it essentially becomes desert. And then you get drought conditions. Whenever you have desertification and drought, that means you can't grow enough food, and that means you're going to end up with famine or starving people, which is not a good situation. Also, and lastly, some social concerns. In most of Africa, there is a slightly lower literacy rate. That is certainly not true for all the countries in Africa, but for the majority. Fewer than 75% of the population know how to read and write. There is also a lower life expectancy in Africa, and that has to do with lack of access to health care for the most part. If you live 200 miles away from a doctor, you're not going to get the opportunity to see a doctor and to get health care very often. So all of these things combined were the challenges of decolonization. The biggest overarching challenge, however, was the fact that the European countries took so much more out of Africa than they put in. So Africa today has some struggles. Some countries in Africa are very advanced. Some are still struggling with some basic things. But we have to keep in mind that these countries didn't get their independence until after World War II. So in the grand scheme of things, most of these countries of Africa are in their infancy. They are less than 100 years old. So for less than 100 years, they've been ruling over themselves. That was a very brief overview of the decolonization of Africa and Asia.